of as a magic ratio between what you publish or what you send off for publication and what you provide for free online to just keep people excited and interested in your work?
Who is this addressed to?
All of us.
Well, Rukis, we start over with you.
I wish I knew, honestly, because I had to deal with a lot of screaming anger when I withheld certain pages of my comic. Really, the ultimate answer is you can't make everybody happy. It's just impossible. People are going to want everything for free. And then there are, you know, a large majority of people, actually, who are really understanding and really wonderful and really supportive and will buy your stuff even if they've gotten the whole thing for free. So give away however much you want to. Really, in my case, I gave away enough to tell the story because I wanted to tell the story. I could have cut the thing off, you know, midway through. It might have even been better financially, but I don't know. But I wanted to put the whole story up. I really wanted to, and you know, it's, as writers, I'm sure can understand. You get that little giddy, like, yay, when people are reading your stuff and you know, they're interested and they're into it and they want to talk about it and they want to talk about your characters. That's like, it's better than the money. Not almost, it's completely better than the money. And that's really why I put out like the entire story.
Well, I think everybody's kind of different on what they want to share and what they want to sell. I don't know, I've given away and I've shared many things, and it does help just to get it out. There's people that just put webcomics up, and even though their webcomics completely free, if they get a good enough following, they may eventually put it into a book, and people will still buy the book, even though they can read online for free, because they still want to support. They want to see more. They're like, well, you know, if people want to support, then they may stop doing it. But those who have done webcomics and are either too slow to update it, or just don't update it at all, again, they'll start losing following.
Yeah.
Even though it may be really, really good, people just eventually lose interest or forget about it. So something like a webcomic, I mean, they got to keep up with it every day. I don't know how they do it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that. As far as I'm aware, there's like 1 or 2 webcomics that actually support their creators full time, which would be Penny Arcade. I think at the moment the Penny Arcade Expo is happening somewhere in the States. Is that right? Yeah, PAX. So they've actually gotten to the point where they have they're running a charity for kids in hospitals that they can be provided with you know, games and entertainment.
And Child's Play?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Child's Play, that's the one, which is a fantastic thing. But the main quality of Penny Arcade is their consistent productivity. They're always on time with the comments, always Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Exactly how they do it, I don't know. But yeah, it's that.
Well, it's their job now.
It's their job now, but like that doesn't necessarily say everything.
How many times have you called out from work? You know?
Yeah. And what's interesting is how topical it often is. It's very often it's evident, not that I completely follow it so much, but it's evident that they've produced it like very shortly beforehand, that they're constantly on the button. A lot like South Park, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of episodes in there. It's not everyone's taste, obviously. But there's a couple of episodes in it that were clearly made within a 3-day span of some event happening, like the Terry Schiavo stuff. And then 3 days later, there's an episode that not just mocks it, but does so very intelligently. Yeah. I think we all wish we had a gigantic Korean animation crew behind us that could make that stuff happen for us. So yeah, it's productivity. That's a really big deal in order to build a following as well.
Gotta work.
Yeah.
Gotta work.
I mean, look at Blanche. They never stop.
Yeah.
They're this gigantic gestalt machine that just puts out awesome stuff. Left, right, and center.
Well, even with the comic that they're producing, a lot of it's on advertising it. If you're going to use that, since that's pretty much all they're doing, they're going to have to make money on it because they're not doing anything else.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to find a way to market this and really sell it, and part of that is advertising. You just got to constantly, you know, hey, this is going to be coming out. This is going to be coming out. You have flyers and news and like their website. They're constantly posting new information, new sketches. So it's almost like the online comics where you're like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? I really want to see this. When's it coming out? Anytime sooner, maybe? So, advertisement's a big one, too. Even if it's in other books or convention books, flyers for other conventions, throw that stuff around. Because the more people you can get interested, the better you will do for when you make copies. Because, of course, the more copies you make, the cheaper it is for a book to produce.
Well, not always.
Not always.
A lot of us do print-on-demand publication is a modern thing whereby a book is printed pretty much when it's ordered, right? So there's no. You've not heard of this?
I have not heard of this. See, I'm still under the rock.
Oh wow! Okay, let's talk about print-on-demand publication, because this is the reason that I'm here. That Bad Dog Books exist. I mentioned this in another panel that I gave, but in 2004, 2005. I sent off a story to Heat magazine by Sulphur Wolf, and within 3 days I hadn't received a response, and obviously, like any novice writer, I was outraged. Not, in my naivete, not realizing that 6 months is a very fast turnaround to get a response to a story that you submitted. Yeah. Maybe it's different for comics, which are, not to dismiss them at all, but at least quicker to consume. But the slush pile that most editors have on their desk can attest to that. It's massive. It's an enormous chore to get through because you need to give them a lot of attention, even if they're a pile of wank. But so I became frustrated, unreasonably. I became frustrated, and I decided that the best solution would be to do it myself, because I discovered through a great deal of research on the interwebs, and by a great deal I mean more than half an hour. I found that there were services like Lulu.com and now also CreateSpace, and what they do is they provide print-on-demand services for basically anyone, for basically for free. So you send in you make an account, you send a PDF that's properly formatted according to their guidelines. You say whether it's black and white in color, what the page size has to be, and what price you want to be. And then it goes up on their website, and it's basically like Amazon.com, so you have a buy link. And at this point, the book is not being produced at all. Nobody has a copy until somebody clicks buy. Then amazingly expensive machines start doing fantastic stuff until something goes ding, and there's a book, it goes in an envelope, and it gets shipped off to the person who ordered it. And they can just, it's rinse, repeat, press button, receive bacon. These companies make their money by taking off the production cost and just a little bit of cream off the top. So there's been some evolution in that, and to the point where For Planet, who's our printing partner and who also publishes Rukis' comic Cruelty, they used to do all our printing as well, but they've kind of realized that the economy of scale is such. Most of their products that are going to sell a fair bit, they can actually outsource to CreateSpace. We help them set up a publisher's account on CreateSpace, which is like Lulu.com, it's a print-on-demand outfit affiliated with Amazon.com. And by pooling our portfolios of titles, we had enough titles and enough new titles per year to be eligible for a publisher's account. And so, again, we just prepare the PDFs for the products that we want to put out, upload them to our account, make sure that we negotiate a little bit with our account representative, and they send us a proof copy, and after that, that's it. If we want 250 copies like we had for Heathen City, they just send a box with 250 copies. And this is a great advantage for small press publishers, because we don't have to outlay $5,000 first to get 100 copies, or $6,000 copies, $6,000 to get 200 copies. Because you have that weird economy of scale with traditional offset printing, where buying or ordering 10 times as many in one go is maybe only twice as expensive. Because the setup cost is so expensive, because you have to make the plates or the films or however they do it, and that's very expensive. And with many outfits, after they've done that first run, they'll just destroy the plates because they don't have the time or energy to archive them. So if you then want to order some more, you ran out of stock, and you want maybe 100 more copies to last you for the rest of the year, then you still have to pay that enormous amount of money, and nobody wants to do that. Sulphur Wolf, I know that they have a good relationship with their printer, and they do archive their plates. So, for example, when they run out of stock of Vol or Out of Position, the Carl Gold novels, they can have those reprinted fairly cheaply. So it's a bit of a balancing act, because print on demand, while it's very handy for this stuff, and otherwise for Rukis's comic, quite a substantial amount of money would have had to be invested. It is very expensive per copy.
It doesn't go down. It doesn't have the economy of scale, right?
There is no economy of scale. It's always
the same
flat.
printing cost per unit is there for 200 as there is for 1.
Exactly. But it minimizes the risk. It minimizes the amount of money that you have to invest, and it enables publishers to be a bit bolder in what they do and what they accept. Like as I was talking with Fred Savage, I was kind of nervous about the fact that everything was online already. I mean, I've been wanting to experiment with that to see if indeed giving it away for free would increase sales. But if I had to outlay, $7,500 to have a batch of 1,000 copies printed and then they didn't move, I would have been a sad, sad panda.